A veteran actor, fresh off a full day of shooting, was suddenly found dead in his living room with both the TV and the AC still running. Police have already ruled out murder and suicide, yet the initial autopsy failed to find an exact cause of death. Hey everyone, before we dive into the video, we want to announce that we're launching a brand new segment called Trace Your Story. For this segment, you can send us a real-life story you've experienced, from horror and cheating to crime or any other true story you have. Send us your story at Sean Varel, traceyourstory@gmail.com, using this format. Email subject, Trace Your Story. Story title, Your Title Here. Tell us your experience in as much detail as possible. Feel free to include any supporting photos or evidence if you have them. Optional contact, your WhatsApp number or another way we can reach you for more information. Don't worry, you can absolutely send your story anonymously if you prefer. We'll do our best to create a video and tell your experience. I'm really looking forward to your emails, and who knows, your story might be the very first one featured on Trace Your Story. Don't forget to submit your stories. I'll be waiting and can't wait to read them. Before we tear this all down piece by piece, if you want to support Trace Zero so we can keep bringing you deeper, long-form investigations, consider joining Trace Circle. You'll get exclusive stickers featuring my face to use in the live chats and comment sections. I'll see you there. By the way, for those of you wanting to grab some official Tracers merch, everything is live right now. We've got hoodies, tank tops, mugs, tumblers, phone cases, and a whole lot more. You can check it out by clicking the link below. It's fully integrated right here into the video. Hey Tracers, how's it going? Hope you're all staying healthy and surrounded by good vibes. Anyway, today we're diving into a tragic story wrapped in mystery straight out of the Taiwan entertainment industry. A veteran actor, fresh off a full day of shooting, was suddenly found dead in his living room with both the TV and the AC still running. Police have already ruled out murder and suicide, yet the initial autopsy failed to find an exact cause of death. What really went down behind the relentless hours and the silent dedication of this actor? Let's break down the timeline step by step, because you never know how deep this hole goes. On the 26th of July 2026, in a residential neighborhood of Taipei's Da'an district, 43-year-old Taiwanese actor Wang Kai, whose real name was Wang Jianlong, was found dead at the scene. Just 24 hours prior, he was on set with the production crew from Wrap to Wrap. He headed home on time and even confirmed his work schedule for the next day without showing a single sign that anything was off. But after a neighbor grew suspicious and called the cops, police and firefighters kicked down the door only to find his body inside. Appliances in the home were still running, and there was no evidence of forced entry. Investigators and prosecutors stepped in and quickly ruled out 3 potential causes of death: homicide, suicide, and physical violence. Even after the autopsy was completed, the exact cause of death remained inconclusive. A definitive answer will only come once the toxicology, pathology, and drug screening results are back. This veteran actor, who always stayed professional despite pushing through pain and who was actually planning his retirement, passed away suddenly without any warning. Naturally, the news sparked intense conversation overnight, both online and throughout the entertainment industry. The timeline of this tragic discovery comes with razor-sharp detail. Around noon on July 26, Wang Jianlong ordered food online. When the delivery driver arrived, they followed standard apartment protocol and hung the order on his doorknob. The driver knocked several times and called out, but didn't hear a sound from inside. With no answer and nobody opening the door, the driver left. At 1:03 p.m., a neighbor living in the same building walked past his apartment twice and noticed the food bag was still hanging in the exact same spot, completely untouched. Now, this neighbor was on good terms with Wang Jianlong and knew his routine as someone living alone. He knew Wang never left food hanging outside for long and certainly never ignored someone calling from the door. Right then, he felt something was dead wrong. So, He pounded on the door repeatedly while loudly shouting Wang's name. From inside, he could hear the TV playing a broadcast, and the living room AC was running normally without any sign of a blackout or power failure. But still, complete silence from inside. Realizing how bizarre it was for the electronics to be running while the tenant was totally MIA, the neighbor immediately contacted property management and dialed emergency services. When officers and firefighters arrived, they tried entering the usual way but failed, confirming the door was locked tight from the inside. In the end, responders had no choice but to break down the door to get inside for a rescue and scene processing. The details of the scene were transparently released to the public afterward, showing zero signs of staging or deliberate tampering. Wang Jianlong was found lying face down flat on the living room floor. His arms and legs were extended naturally, showing no signs of contortion, spasms, or a struggle. The exposed parts of his body bore no visible marks, no cuts, bruises, scrapes, or stab wounds. The TV in the living room was still playing, and the AC was running on a cool setting. All doors and windows were locked from the inside, with the lock mechanisms fully intact and free of any pry marks. Everything across the apartment, from the living room and bedroom to the foyer, was neatly in place. Furniture, electronics, and daily items hadn't been shifted or damaged at all. There were no mysterious liquids, powders, or suspicious objects on the floor or tables either. No signs of a fight, a struggle, or disarray, and zero evidence suggesting an outsider had entered, stayed over, or committed a crime there. Paramedics on site immediately checked his vital signs and confirmed that Wang Jianlong had no breath, no heartbeat, and no pulse. Having lost all signs of life, he was pronounced dead on the spot. Based on the level of rigor mortis, the room temperature, and how long the electronics had been running, police initially estimated that he had passed away roughly 3 hours before being found. Crime scene technicians conducted a thorough evidence sweep of every corner, taking panoramic photos, testing indoor environmental samples, logging the operational parameters of the appliances, and securing every potential lead. The entire process was handled with strict, systematic precision to ensure a solid foundation for the autopsy and further investigation. On the 27th of July 2026, a team of Taiwanese district prosecutors, alongside forensic experts, performed a full surgical autopsy on Wang Jianlong's body. This was a comprehensive, top-to-bottom examination covering external surfaces, internal organs, blood vessels, vital organs, and his circulatory and respiratory systems. They checked every single possibility, from congenital organ defects and acute organ failure to physical trauma and sudden systemic collapse. Once the procedure was complete, both through visual inspection and initial professional equipment testing, investigators found no fatal external injuries, no ruptured internal organs, no acute internal bleeding, and no large-scale tissue necrosis. At the same time, forensically speaking, common causes of death, like blunt force trauma, falls from height, sharp weapon wounds, and asphyxiation, were officially ruled out. Prosecutors also conducted a deep sweep of the apartment once more, focusing on hidden spots, storage spaces, and electronic devices to make sure no subtle clues, hidden marks, or drug residues were missed. After thoroughly searching the home, they found no written suicide note, no digital final messages, no brief memos, or goodbye notes that would suggest an intent to end his life. Piecing together the findings from both crime scene investigations and the initial autopsy, authorities officially issued a preliminary conclusion ruling out all three major possibilities: murder, foul play from an external force, and deliberate suicide. To dig out the absolute truth, close any potential loopholes, and ensure the findings were 100% accurate and legally sound, prosecutors formally called for a second autopsy down the road. Meanwhile, biological samples were secured for lab testing, including toxicology, pathology screenings, and drug residue analysis. The final conclusion of this case and the full cause of death report will only be officially released to the public once all lab data and test results have been fully verified. As news of Wang Jianlong's passing broke, fellow actors, crew members, and fans who had followed his career for years were left in total shock and grief. Actor Jing Xuan, who worked closely with him recently, took to social media to post a tribute, and in doing so, dropped some critical details about Wang's physical condition and workload right before he died. Jing Xuan confirmed that he last saw Wang Jianlong 2 days before his death on the set of the drama series Life of 100 Flavors. That would be their final face-to-face interaction. During that meeting, Jing Xuan noticed right away that Wang looked drastically thinner than usual, and his overall physical condition seemed way off compared to his normal work self. Something was definitely wrong. When they chatted privately, Wang Jianlong opened up to Jing Xuan, admitting that lately his body was in constant discomfort, and his energy levels were completely shot. He was dealing with persistent fatigue, felt running on empty, and was experiencing pain all over his body. Physically, he was nowhere near ready to handle the brutal, high-intensity shooting schedule on set. Yet, Wang Jianlong emphasized that Life of 100 Flavors was in the middle of a crucial crunch period. The team's schedule was extremely tight, and the entire cast call sheet was locked in. As one of the main leads, he carried a massive workload with heavy screen time. Taking sick leave would mean completely halting production for his scenes, throwing off the entire crew's schedule, causing delay after delay, and bleeding money for the production company. Wanting to keep things moving for the team, Wang Jianlong chose to swallow the pain and push through the grueling shooting hours. In the days leading up to his death, he never uttered a single word of complaint about his health to the producers, the directors, or the on-set crew. He never filed for sick leave or requested time off, never asked to cut back his scenes, and never pushed for a schedule change. He remained disciplined, completing every single daily scene according to the call sheet. After wrapping up set that day, the two of them lingered on the roadside near the set to catch up on work and life. Throughout the conversation, Wang Jianlong was sharp, spoke normally, and showed zero signs of strange emotions or dark, pessimistic thoughts. When they parted, they hugged as they always did, and Wang even invited Jing Xuan out for a meal once this stretch of shooting wrapped up and things loosened up. That goodbye turned out to be their last. In his tribute, Jing Xuan shared that as he looked back on the details of that afternoon, he realized Wang Jianlong had been deliberately putting on a brave face, hiding his physical agony just to keep the production moving without a hitch. According to close friends and relatives later on, Wang Jianlong's failing health wasn't something that happened overnight. It was the cumulative toll of years under high-pressure work conditions. Wang had been a fixture in Taiwan's 8 p.m. primetime soap operas for years. This genre operates on a brutal, shoot-as-it-airs daily schedule, with no set wrap dates, endless last-minute script rewrites, and sudden extra scene additions as a routine affair. To guarantee an episode hit the airwaves every night, and to save producers from massive financial hits due to missed broadcasts, the production team operated under a relentless, extreme grind. Cast and crew were pulling 17 to 18-hour days on average. During peak periods, those daily shifts would easily stretch past 20 hours, leaving industry workers with virtually no real rest. The endlessly long hours, chaotic sleep schedules, and irregular eating habits took a devastating toll on Wang Jianlong's body over time. Over the last few years, his weight kept dropping, and his body's internal systems were gradually breaking down. Suffering from chronic insomnia, he had relied on sleeping pills every single night for years just to grab a baseline of sleep, all to muster enough energy to survive the daily, grueling shoots. In the past, Wang Jianlong had suffered severe stomach bleeding and collapsed unconscious to the point where neighbors had to call the fire department to break down his door and rush him to the hospital to save his life. Years ago, he was also diagnosed with gallstones that triggered a life-threatening flare-up. Even after medical treatment, it left him with lingering, chronic health issues. Yet, a history of repeated medical emergencies never truly stopped him from taking a full break. The moment his condition showed a slight improvement, he'd jump right back onto set and take on new roles. The last full workday of Wang Jianlong's life was the 25th of July, 2026. His entire schedule, communication logs, and condition on set that day were fully documented. In the morning, Wang arrived on set, right on schedule, strictly following production rules. He completed every step of his workday from hair and makeup, blocking and dialogue rehearsals, to the actual takes, without ever being late, leaving early, or skipping out. During filming, he knocked out every scheduled scene for the day smoothly, completely meeting every standard the production team expected. Neither his fellow actors nor the crew noticed anything out of the ordinary. At 5 p.m., Wang Jianlong wrapped his scenes and headed home, just like any other day. Right after wrapping, he touched base with his manager to go over the shooting schedule and scene call sheet for July 26th. The entire exchange was completely smooth, no requests for time off, no asking for sick leave, and not a single red flag. Wang Jianlong spent 24 years in the acting world, making him a true veteran in Taiwan's film and television scene. He got his start back in 1998, breaking out early on and making a name for himself across both Taiwan and mainland China with hit series like Lavender and The Pawn Shop No. 8. From there, he threw himself into local daily soap operas, starring in a string of high-profile primetime dramas. Midway through his career, he expanded his footprint into mainland China, building up an insanely rich body of work along the way. But the Taiwanese daily drama industry, the very world he operated in, is infamous for being a total pressure cooker for its workers. Turnovers are fast, and mid-tier actors have zero contract safety nets or steady resources, leaving them with practically no bargaining power. Taking time off or abruptly putting a project on hold can easily get your role recast, your future gigs canceled, and shut you out from getting cast down the line. To survive in the industry, most local actors choose to swallow the pain and grind themselves to the bone rather than risk asking for a break. Pushing through the pain ended up becoming the unwritten norm in that world. As of right now, specialized lab testing on the biological samples taken from Wang Jianlong's re-autopsy is still underway. The forensic team is systematically evaluating every possibility, from long-term medication side effects and hidden organ defects to sudden cardiac events brought on by severe overwork, right down to acute systemic failure. None of the testing panels have released final data yet, and authorities have not issued an official conclusion regarding his cause of death. The wild theories floating around social media right now have zero official backing and shouldn't be taken as fact. Law enforcement and prosecutors have emphasized that every step of this investigation is being handled strictly by the book. Once all lab results and reevaluations are fully gathered and reviewed, a comprehensive, accurate cause of death report and final conclusion will be officially released to the public. For now, the production team of Life of 100 Flavors has paused filming for Wang Jianlong's remaining scenes, reworked their production schedule, and is fully supporting his family with the funeral arrangements as everyone awaits the official investigative findings. Wang Jianlong's sudden death leaves behind deep grief and a massive unanswered question. No physical trauma, no illicit drugs, and no signs of foul play. Was this simply a case of sudden cardiac arrest triggered by extreme overwork, or a fatal interaction from years of relying on sleep aids while his body was silently breaking down? What do you guys think, Tracers? Drop your thoughts and keep the theories respectful in the comments below. If you're still watching this, maybe you're looking for the same thing I am.